Shut up. So, first story, chat. A sucker is born every minute. A sucker is born every minute. Nijisani just announced Nijisani just announced another Ian wave. They just announced another Ian wave.
I'm not surprised.
So we've got the most generic gotcha boys of all time. Got it. Okay.
I don't like it.
You are such a bitch. You have awful taste.
Listen. I think you have a lot of you have a lot of very interesting individuals you're friends with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like very, very interesting. You have to have one basic bitch friend. I'm that basic bitch friend. I got you. I'm the normal person. I'm the normie. I serve a very specific purpose. You're welcome. Thank me.
I'm gonna put you in a well and fill it with concrete.
No! You don't give me the fucking ring treatment. The Sadako treatment.
Not by chance, by design.
Welcome to opening night.
I recognize literally none of these people. I don't know if people have already sleuthed it out. I recognize not a single one of these voices. Ooh.
Very debonair. Very mindful.
I want him to get canceled. I really hope that's the Sex Pest. It's me. Hi, Vicky. Thank you for the resubscription. Thank you. I can't fucking believe this shit, dude. I cannot believe after what, because you know what happened. So have you kept up on Niji news and what has been happening in the world of Nijisanji?
No.
Okay, so the last big thing that Nijisanji dealt with was a massive sexual sex pest allegations, basically. Alistair was accused of basically he was accused of sexual harassment of multiple colleagues, and that Nijisanji covered it up. Nijisanji then proceeded to cover that up too.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's so. This is the company. This is the company that people are getting into. This is the company that people are getting into. This is the company that people have chosen to join. I don't understand. I don't understand. I do not understand how you could be this desperate for attention and for money. Do you know what the reality of working for Nijisanji is?
You pay more money than you make. Isn't that
Yes.
the case for? Isn't that the case for a certain person by the name of like Sunny Explosion? I don't remember their
Yes.
Niji name.
Most new talents. So Nijisanji is no longer a value proposition to join. The majority of new talents are not actually making a substantial amount of money more than they were making as indies. If anything at all, some people actively who have been joining have had their incomes halved or significantly damaged by joining Nijisanji, because they do not pay you well. The contracts are bad. It is all exposure bullshit. It's a bad deal. It's like a really, really, really bad deal to join Nijisanji at this point. And so we did research. The last few EN generations, they have been around for about 6-7 months. They can't crack 50K on YouTube. That is insane. That is actually insane.
Are they posting frequently? Is it like An actual content site?
Oh, yes, they're streaming. They're doing content. Yeah. Nijisanji as a brand is dead. It is no longer like it is no like people get hyped for these debuts and new people, and then they quickly forget they exist and they move back on to the people that they consistently watched. Nijisanji as a brand is not it's just not a good value proposition to join. And then you of course are stuck in an extremely toxic company with horrific management, with a toxic work environment, with your colleagues are openly corrupt. Some of them are predators. Some of them are bullies who have bullied people into suicide attempts. And these people get away with anything they want. And this is what you're joining when you join Nijisanji. Is still relatively big in Japan. Yes, still relatively big in Japan. Their EN branch is basically it is on its fucking deathbed at this point. Most of their major talents have had their audiences cut by 2/3 since the black screen stream.
But Arthur, clout. They need the clout.
But it's not clout. See, that's the thing. It's not clout because, okay, you're in here, and then you are under a legal contract where you can never talk about being part of Nijisanji as long as you fucking live. Like, you are signed to NDA for life to never discuss being part of the... yes.
What the fuck?
So, it's just like, it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense because you don't get anything from this. You gain nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing but stress and multiple years of being exploited by a major corporation and having every penny wrung out of you. Because also, by the way, they don't pay for things. They make you pay them back for their assets and models that
I remember that.
You then do not get to keep at any point. You pay for things that are not yours, that are owned by the company. But Arthur, they want to make friends in a corporation. Yeah.
Can I be honest?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, I won't say this. It's a hot take, and I think it's an actually big hot take too.
Well, say it. Say your hot take.
I don't like corporate VTubers, and I think corporate VTubing is where very talented people go to die as a creator.
At this point, I would agree, yes. I think back in the day, there was reason to. I think that it was in the early days of VTubing, it made perfectly logical sense to join. And I think there are still venues that are good for people. Like, for example, Hololive, I think is still a good option, especially for female creators.
Right.
I think it's been very good for a lot of people, and they still have there are some issues internally in Hololive, but overall, they are a much better corporation than a lot of other places, and they do actually have prestige behind their names. People do actually care about the brand, unlike Niji, where the brand is dead. It's fucking dead in English-speaking territories. The only people who still care about this shit are the super fans. It is literally just super fans and people who are delusional. Most people who are well informed in the market and are deep into VTubing do not like Nijisanji as a company and will not support their talents after what they've done.
My issue with corporate VTubers is just like their communities a lot of the time. There's a handful. I'm trying to think of his name. Fulgur? I think it's Fulgur. I think Fulgur. I think he's a Niji person. His handling of his community actually makes me like him as a creator because
does he step on people who are weirdos? Does he
he sets boundaries as far as I know, which I respect.
Good, yeah.
Which is like very, very, very uncommon from corporate VTuber fans.
Yeah.
Or corporate.
Yeah,
VTubers,
most of the time they intentionally will gestate the most parasocial feelings out of their chats so that because they are, it's literally, I mean, it's a business, right? It's not really, I will say this, chat, I do not believe corporate VTubing is artistic in any way, shape, or form. I believe some artists get into corporate VTubing and are able to do some pretty decent things, but I think it is creatively bankrupt to work for a corporation because You have no creative freedom. You are completely beholden to the whims of management at any given time. Even if you have a good idea, if they think it's not a good idea or they think it'll rock the boat or disturb the norms, they will actively put it down. Even worse, because it's a Japanese company who are very traditionalist and they do not like change or trying new things. For the most part, sometimes it's there's differentiation, but most of the time it's the same. This is, you don't get to be creative as a corporate VTuber. You don't.
Yeah. I'm not even going to say, like, this is particularly one of the things where it was like, I've had this conversation on stream before. It's been a while. So actually, I think it was right before I had my big, like, blow up in terms of popularity. So a lot of people don't know how I actually, my standing point when it comes to corporate VTubers. I'm a person who does not really want a lot of money, which sounds weird. I'm someone who honestly, as long as I can make it from paycheck to paycheck, I am very happy, right?
Which is why you should give me all your money, Chet.
yeah. But I'm very happy just to make it from point A to point B in terms of like surviving, right?
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean.
If some corporate person was like, "Hey, Azzy, would you like to become a corporate VTuber?" I would say no. Fuck off. Absolutely not. No. Because in my mind, even though I've definitely, especially recently, I've calmed down with like the type of jokes that I make. I'm not nearly as lewd, right?
Yeah.
I still have the opinion that a lot of corporate VTubers are limited by so much, and that even if they slightly step out of boundaries, they can get in trouble. And it's like
it's even more dangerous than that. So here's the other thing you gotta realize: it's not just the people who are management. You also have to worry about the fan bases. So the corporate VTubing fan bases very often have the core of them have a very stringent opinion on how things in VTubing need to go. They're very specific criteria. One, they despise male VTubers and female VTubers interacting in any context whatsoever. They cannot handle that. They love gay baiting. They love if you are you could be literally fucking a colleague on stream as long as they're the same sex as you, and it's totally fine for them. Because they fetishize people who are of like in the LGBTQ rather than thinking about them as human beings. And then
I learned about something similar to that with Niji recently, actually.
Oh yeah,
but I think this was way older. Yeah, I have a friend of mine who is very like knowledgeable on corporate VTubers, and we just got into the conversation of it, and I was told about one. It was a guy VTuber and a girl VTuber from Niji who were doing a collab for a song. And like the communities fucking lost their mind. Like they lost their fucking shit. And it was insane. Yeah. Like I was like, they were explaining to me and I was like, just because they were singing a song together? And they're like, yes. they lost their fucking mind.
Because they thought, that's the thing is you cannot have any kind of allusion to romance or expression of them. Like they do not accept the VTubers being in relationships unless it is with the same sex within their company. They like if there is a opposite sex relationship that is ever alluded to within the company, or that the person says alludes to having a opposite sex relationship outside of the company, then the fan bases will, the majority of the time, have a meltdown about that. A lot of you're cucking us. A lot of it's not. Apparently, they're not cucking them if it's with someone of the same sex. But if it's someone of opposite sex, then you're cucking us. It's very bizarre. And then the other thing. So you have all the weirdness about relationships, and then you get into the politics. There is staunch anti-political sentiment from a vocal minority within the VTubing community. And I'm gonna be real with you. There's a lot of smokescreen here of we just don't want any politics. We don't want any of it invading our anime. It's right-wing dudes who don't want to hear left-wing talking points.
Yeah.
That's what listen. I think there are probably some people who are just politically tired in this camp, but the majority of the loudest voices within that talking point are just dudes who have subtly or very unsubtly right-wing leaning views who just don't like the idea of content creators ever expressing a left-leaning talking point ever, and they want it suppressed. Because they would be totally fine. These people are you see it based on reactions, right? If a VTuber starts making right-wing grift points, if the VTuber starts making right-wing grift points, then they are like based, that's awesome. Based. And you'll say almost no complaining. But you hear someone say the word trans rights and it's everybody loses their minds. And you'll have like dedicated harassers for basically the rest of their lives. Like,
yeah.